How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's sales meeting. While we have CoreLogic in the house, giving you guys a virtual training. But first, we're going to toss it over to Shelly for our mortgage moment.
All right, thank you so much. So today I want to talk a little bit about ARMs, not this ARM, but adjustable rate mortgages. They are making their comeback, especially in the rate environment that we're seeing today. In some cases, an adjustable rate mortgage may actually be a half a point to a full point lower in interest rate. Now, for a buyer, I always want to prepare them that there has to be a very good strategy around utilizing an adjustable rate mortgage. It can actually be an effective tool for them to get into a home and qualify. Typically, an adjustable rate mortgage or an ARM is a fixed period of time. So as an example, a 5-1, a 7-1, or a 10-1 ARM, that first number there, the 5, 7, or 10, is going to be the fixed period. And then the 1 ultimately means that it's going to adjust into a 1-year adjustment period. And so every year after that 5, 7, or 10 years, it becomes a 1-year adjustable. Now, there are some loans that actually are adjustable rate mortgages that actually are 6 months. So it would be a 5-6 or a 7-6 or a 10-6. And that ultimately means that it'll be fixed for that 5, 7, or 10, and it becomes a 6-month adjustable rate mortgage. Now, I have a couple clients that actually utilized the adjustable rate mortgage, and it benefited them because they did not see themselves living in the home longer than the 7 or 10 years that both of them selected as far as the ARMs are concerned. It did afford them the opportunity to get into the home with a lower interest rate. And here's the thing. I mean, if rates should actually lower sometime between that time frame, they're always able to refinance. And so that was one of their opportunities or options that they were considering. But most important for them, they knew that they were not going to be in town longer than that fixed period of time. And so for them, it was a safe bet for them to utilize, take advantage of the lower interest rate. And they were being very strategic about using an ARM. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to one of your Prosperity Lending loan officers. Of course, ARMs are specific to certain programs. We do offer them as a 5-1 ARM for our FHA and VA loans. And then for your jumbo and your conventional loans, the terms are very different. So if you have a client that's interested in getting more information about adjustable rate mortgages, feel free to reach out to one of your Prosperity Lending loan officers and make it a great week.
Thank you, Shelly. So I'm going to toss it over to Kathy for your CoreLogic training today.
Okay, you should be able to see my One Home PowerPoint with my picture in the lower right-hand corner. Can I get a yay, Beta?
Yay.
Yay. Okay, there I am. All right. So for those of you that don't know me, I go by the Redhead Computer Goddess only because I'm almost a fixture at the association building. I've been on this job for 32 years, and we moved over to this building over on Sun Rainbow, north of Sunset, and we do classes here. Oh, good. I now see the chat. So some of you have had the opportunity to take new member classes with me when you joined, and we're doing another upgrade that goes live Wednesday, May 11th, and it's the latest evolution of Matrix. And this will be one that you may not notice as much as your clients will. Okay, so let's go back to okay, next. All right, there we go. Okay, so the portal will change. If I say portal and you say portal back to me, that tells me a little bit. The portal is the place where your clients see the listings that you sent them, right? And wherever they do their email, and a lot of people don't realize how many of your clients read their email on their phone, right? So this will make it a little bit easier. It's a little bit more, I want to say ADA compliant than it is now. I don't know if you know it, but our current portal is completely not ADA compliant. And with this new version of Matrix, which will be implemented next Wednesday, actually it's at midnight. So if you are an early bird on Wednesday, you'll wake up and you'll see that the portal will change. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of changes for you, but for your clients, you will be able to text listings to your clients. Now, let me clarify something. We are your support, both Tom and myself. We work for CoreLogic and we are your support. So if you have any questions, we can answer your question. We are not allowed to talk to your clients. Number one, I'm a loose cannon. You don't want me talking to your clients. Number two, we've had absolutely no fair housing training whatsoever. So you want to get your brain around this because you will get comments from clients. And it may not, if your clients right now, this is your matrix, okay? And this is your portal. Now, on your portal, you picked a heading. You might have your picture there. You might have your, and by FYI, let me just toss out some legalities here that I happen to know. One is that your license number is supposed to be on all advertisement for you. You're an independent contractor. You have a real estate license. My understanding is that you have to display that real estate license on all signs. So when you log into Matrix right now, this is what Matrix looks like. And then when you email your client, this is what the portal looks like. And we've been fond of saying, for example, if you ask the question, well, my client has, they have a king size bed and they want to put it in the secondary bedroom. We've been fond of saying three dots. What do you mean three dots? There are three dots on this portal that let you see some of those older views. For example, the some of you that have been around a bit like something called the brochure view. And the brochure view, well, I think it's horrible, but nonetheless, you've been using it for a lot of years, so you like it. So what will one home look like? Well, Matrix stays very few uh, changes for you. Matrix looks exactly the same. You may be walking around next week saying, wait a minute, I don't see much change at all. No. Now, your clients will see, instead of your picture up here, your clients will see the one home logo. And your picture will be down here in the lower right. So, and a lot of people aren't aware that your client can do their own searches on your portal. Okay. So when you send emails to your client, it goes on the portal and the views change. In other words, we no longer have to say three dots. We no longer have to say client brochure view. We no longer have, and it has more things. For example, that second bedroom, it'll have the dimensions of the second bedroom. All notes and saved listings will be transferred to the new portal. Now, if your client just looks at listings, nothing will change. If they just look at listings and go, oh, okay. And you know what? Sometimes your clients are working with multiple realtors. Sometimes you're not their only agent. They're not monogamous. Okay. Um, they can, if you are in fact working with somebody who's working with 6 or 7 agents, they have the choice of which agent they want to work with when they start. If they want to engage with you, what do I mean by engage with you? Do notes, favorites, thumbs up, thumbs down, and we actually lose the possibilities. There's a section in the portal that now says possibilities. That goes away. We'll have like, dislike, and notes. Those will be the things that are on the client portal. Now, do you do anything different? The same as you always did. Any device they read their emails, desktop, computer, laptop, any device they read their email, they're going to see one home, and one home is automatically the way it'll display on the device is much nicer than now. Okay. So for example, you see here this, if a client gets an email from you, this is how it's going to look. It's going to have your headshot, and we haven't had this: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay. So, and if they look at it, this is the way it will look, and this is the way the map will look, and this is the way the property photos will look. All right. So if you don't have your headshot in the portal, they're not going to see this. So we want to get and that's probably the thing that Tom and I struggle with the most, is trying to get you to put your contact information where it should be. So you don't just show up to real estate, you show up and you put things into the system. So let's get started. Now, before we do, Are you aware on Monday and or Friday from 9 to 11, 1 to 3, we have what's called a computer lab. You show up. Yeah, you got to get dressed, get in the car, drive to 6360 South Rainbow, and to get help with any programs that we do. And that includes Matrix or MLS Touch. Now, we cannot help with Transaction Desk, Remine, Authentisign, or any of those, but we can help with Matrix or MLS Touch. Now, what I'm going to do right now is open up I'm going to share a Chrome tab, and you get to see my awful CoreLogic screen. So we have some folks testing right now. Let me log out of this because I have a special login for One Home. Okay, so FYI, notice that I don't have my login stored. Very important. Don't store your login in your browser. So this particular login, now again, the one thing I do want everybody, this will maybe look the same, maybe be different because we're doing some changes here as well. One Home is not an app. I'm going to be doing live classes on One Home. I'm going to have everybody chant together. One Home is not an app. Okay. So, messages of the day, you want to read them. If I don't read them, read later. We log in as you, not because we're sitting around here with nothing to do, but if you have an issue with Matrix, the first thing I'll ask you is your public ID. And when you answer me with that, I log in as you, usually so I can see your most recent searches, because that's generally what you have a question about, or your automatic emails. You want to change your criteria. Those are the questions we answer the most. So you should be seeing my One Home Matrix home screen. Now, first of all, we have the learning lab, and there's some things here in the learning lab. You can take quizzes, get points, or just read things. There's also the benefits for your client to activate One Home. So, for example, you have contact requests or recent use contacts. Here, recent use contacts. Okay, so I have recent use contacts, right? And then I have recent One Home visitors. So recent One Home visitors takes the place of recent portal visitors. I've read this, I've read this, I've read this. Okay. These are the classes, by the way, these are the classes that we offer. Some of them are live. I believe all of these classes are live, and we get a lot of comments. Where are the classes? The classes are under the news and alert. There's a One Home class. When? Friday, May 6th from 1 to 2. This is a live class. An instructor will be teaching this class. You don't have to show up here at the association, but I think you should take a One Home class. Yes, I'm showing it to you today, but we're just going to touch the surface. So recent One Home visitor tells me who has visited One Home, which one of my clients, and when. Recent use contacts, those are the people that you have reached out to. One Home visitors are the ones that have accepted your invitation. Okay, not the ones who accepted, the ones, yeah, One Home is who's have accepted. Recent use is who you reach out to. Okay, now the first thing on Wednesday, where it says hello and then it says your name, the first thing you should do is go to settings. And when you go to settings, I want to show you something. So if you're writing notes, you should say settings, portal, notification settings. This has been, we started teaching this back in, gosh, I want to say 18 or 19. Did you know that when your client saves a favorite, you can get a text from the system? You've had that ability now. So if you are on Matrix now, you click on settings, and recent portal or portal activity. And this will reveal to you how you get notified when if you want to even get notified when a client visits a portal, saves a favorite, etc., etc. I have mine set to a daily email. Actually, I don't have the discard. I frankly don't care. So if you should choose text for anything,
Excuse me,
you have to
Kathy.
edit your yeah.
Uh, are you sharing the correct screen right now? Seems like all we can see is the support portal.
Okay, let's see here. Stop. Okay. The support stop and share screen, Chrome tab. I had a feeling. Share. Can you see it now?
Right on, perfect.
Anyway, yeah, okay, so here's let me go back. Yeah, because usually when I'm doing a presentation, I'm also on another computer as the attendee because I never know who I'm virtually it's hard to see who you're talking to, right? Okay, so I just logged into One Home and I stress that I never store my login ever on a computer, on my browser. Never, ever, ever, ever really bad computer hygiene to store your name, username, and email. And somebody told I had a response last week from a new agent on that. It's so much trouble to type in your username and password. And she was new in real estate, so she'll learn. Um, on your homepage, you have recent One Home visitors. These are the people that have accepted your engagement request. What do you mean engagement request? You reached out to them by sending an email or setting up an auto email. And these are the people that accepted it. Recent use contacts are the people that you have reached out to that may or may not have responded. So here's what really ends up happening. You'll have a bunch of names here, maybe 12 to 15 names, and you'll have 6 here. Why? Because the number of people that you reach out to versus the number of people that accept that are always different. I don't know that every one of your customers will accept your reaching out and saying, okay, here's what you want to do for, here's One Home. Okay. So Learning Lab. Learning Lab is where you can go and get a lot of information about One Home. And One Home is in use for all over the country for many, many customers. So there are customers that are, if they have a realtor in California or Florida or something like that, they've already used One Home. Now, does that mean you can access another association's listings? No, you are a member of the Las Vegas realtors. So you can access Las Vegas real estate. I would like you to take a look over at the top right where it says hello, and right now it'll say your name, and go to settings. You can do this on the current version of Matrix because you have this portal notification settings. If you want a text from your client every time they visit the portal, you can notify via text. And you can set this up right now. Okay, because when you go to settings, you're going to see portal notification settings. It's here now and it will be here next week as well. Um, One thing I do want to mention, there's a lot of people that kind of ignore us when we say we're having an upgrade. They'll say, oh, I'm not doing that. Yes, you are. Okay. So it's not like an optional thing. Uh, in other words, One Home will be updated, will be implemented on May 11th. Just like we implemented Matrix in 2016, it's not optional. It's kind of like when Windows updates something, you get an update whether you want it or not. Yeah, I still want to use my iPhone 3, right? So know that when we upgrade, we give you more features, and the features we're giving you is the enhanced ability of your clients to have more information such as walk score, bike score, neighborhood information. Because right now, when you email your clients, they go, okay, yeah, that's nice. They might look at the pictures and then they might go to another website to find school information, walk score, bike score, neighborhood restaurants and things like that. All of this, it will be on One Home. So the likelihood of you keeping your client attached to you is more. So if you want your client to send you a text, you can have that. And then you fill out your information here. So take a look at that. Maybe the first time they visit their portal, you want a text. The first time they visit their portal, as well as an email, a daily email. Now, I like this because it's one email for all your clients. Meaning when, and I'm going to set up Audrey. I don't know if Audrey's on the phone, my buddy Audrey for Brooklyn there. Send her an email, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, this goes out tomorrow morning. And if she looks at it, if I don't have this checked at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, she'll if she looks at the portal tomorrow morning, I will see that she has visited the portal. But if you want text, go ahead and set this up. Okay. Now, number two, my information. So hello, and then my information. You'll have 6 tabs here, just like you do now, except that the information, uh, for example, the public email comes from the association. I don't know if anybody's tried to change their email at the maybe change for, and please, if you have an AOL email, get into this century with something newer. Yeah, your customers will have AOL, that's fine, but for you to be doing business under an AOL email, I chide a lot of folks about that. But this information should contain your license number. It should contain your first name and last name. And if you want something different, like you go by a nickname, you could. Well, you could do this. You wanted to do that. But in order to change your public email address, you have to get in contact with the association's membership department. Okay. And when I hit save, that changes that. Header and footer. So this is my headshot. I have, and then the select, now this banner right now is your heading for your portal. But after one home, it's only going to be a print heading, meaning you can print your listings on here with this at the heading. Now, I would usually suggest that you pick a different theme and ask your customers if they print. Nothing like, setting something up in all black and having they sometimes they print emails, and if they print every email, they're going to run out of ink before they're even ready to buy a home. So set up a different header. Set one up that matches your business. Not boring blue, but something, something different. Okay. And if I hit preview, and this will be only a print header, and it should have your license number on it. I believe legally it should. All right. So that's going to be what's called your print header. Okay. Email signature. And if I get this, your changes will be lost. Are you sure? No, I'm not sure. I didn't know that. You know what I didn't do? I didn't hit save. And then email signature, you should already have this filled out. And this one is just my test user. So you should have a very robust, readable email signature. Think of it as your client's reading it on a cell phone. Okay. And then I'm going to go directly to the One Home tab because this is where things change. You should have your photo here because real estate is marketed with your face. And then we have all of these links for if you have a team. What's your Twitter? Do you do Twitter? Do you do Facebook? Do you do Instagram? What's your license number? If you have a license, you have a real estate license. So this is another place you can put it. Because you have these links in One Home, people will be able to click on them and get to you via Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Do you have a tagline? You're selling real estate. My tagline is not selling real estate. And then all your information. So when the client sends, reaches into One Home, logs into One Home, they're going to see your information. Now, what do I say about the client? When I'm looking at my recent one home visitors, I can see that Jill and another version of me and my sister looked at the portal yesterday. So, how do you send an invitation to the portal? Just like you always did. You do a search, and if you're still reeling from area numbers being gone, I'm going to suggest you use zip codes. And here I tossed in a couple of Summerlin zip codes. And FYI, one of the things that you might not be aware of in the searching, two things I'm going to tell you about what fields you can search by. One is city/town. We implemented city town in 2011. And if you want to only do Vegas, you click, you go to the second one in the list and you hold down the control key and click. And if you're on a Mac, you hold down the command key. And if you want to include North Las Vegas. Now, why would I do that with a zip code? The answer is I wouldn't. I have a few zip codes in here. Let me add Sun City, Summerlin too. So, and if you don't know your zip codes, may I suggest that they're using the map. When you click on this hasn't changed. This is brought to you by Google, the map. And there's layers, the 3 pieces of paper, and there's a zip code overlay there. So if you're not familiar with Las Vegas zip codes yet, what are you waiting for? Okay, so I just tossed in some zip codes, so it's showing me the properties that match in that zip code. I'm going to say single family residential. Total monthly HOA. And if you don't have these fields, you can go down to add, remove, and scroll down to the T. Total monthly HOA. And there's a new field, RV parking, yes, no. Love yes, no fields, because yes, no fields are either one or the other. Apparently, the other RV parking field had too many choices. Okay, so and you know what? I get this question a lot. How do I unselect something? Well, how about hovering on the question mark and reading what it says? I started in the 90s, I started teaching read all the screen. Okay. So I don't want to pay more than $100 a month in total monthly HOA. So I say 100 minus. I guess it would be nice if I put a price in, maybe 500 to 750, because we are in Summerlin. Um, so I say 500 to 750, single family. I tossed in some zip codes, and I said less than $100 a month, no more than $100 a month total HOA. Let me uh, let me back up a little bit, because how about one story? Two. Two results. Yeah. Okay. So I've got 2 properties. One's in Sun City. How do I know that? Because that's a zip code. And the other one is up in 89138. Now I'm going to set up an auto email to Audrey, who should be in the audience somewhere. Oh, I have her email. Somewhere I have her email. And if you know what? No, I'll use me. Let me use me rather than her. I'll use myself. Okay. So I'll say new auto email. What is new auto email? That sets up the drip system. Now, if I did want to use Audrey, by the way, ignore this red/pink. It's a bug. We're in the process of fixing it. You add your client's name and email. Homes. Gmail. And I can customize Audrey. EYLV homes at gmail.com. Save. So that's how I can get her into my contact list. And FYI, your contact list exists in another place. Prospects. Anybody got that training yet? You might have heard that word a few years ago. So your customer list exists in another place. But I'm going to go ahead and use my own name here. Cox email, Gmail. Yeah, I put different versions of myself in there so I could test. So I am going to name it Summerlin. And a lot of people don't read their email, but they do read the subject line. So make it attractive. I try to get creative. One story, 500. So just the word Summerlin one story should do it, right? But if you make this attractive enough or creative enough, then when your client receives the email and they don't bother to read it, they will see Summerlin one story. Wow, that's kind of a valuable thing, uh, and valuable, valuable info or whatever keyword to use. Summerlin one story, 500, 750. This is how I'm going to send an invitation to One Home to please use One Home. Now, here is the criteria, and sometimes I do this, I copy and paste. So I should already be, you might already be familiar with this process. I did a search, I picked a client, I creatively named that auto email, I put the contact information or I put the criteria into the message, right? I don't recommend enabling concierge. Why? Because that creates more work for you. And I don't know that any of you will really have a hard time with One Home. Only those people, there are agents that do the work for their clients. What do I mean do the work for their clients? They look at all the listings, they favorite, they possibility. Why are you doing the client's work? So I don't recommend using concierge. I do recommend reverse prospecting. It's a courtesy to the listing agent, ASAP. So I just invited another version of myself to One Home. Okay. And I use something called Mailinator. I just started using Mailinator, so I might not be the most it's a throwaway email, right? So that I can show you what the One Home email real email, right? So my email address for this mailinator is Kahini LAS. And you should, of course, yeah. So let me um, auto email. Might take a little bit for it to come across. I don't know why it didn't, but I'll email these listings again. Email actions, email. Uh, oh, here we go. Kahini LAS at Mailinator. Okay. Uh, First. That always happens to me. My email doesn't come soon enough. Uh, Email. Okay, so if I refresh, here we go. Okay, first One Home email. So what it looks like sometimes the auto emails they go into a queue. A direct email goes into a shorter queue. I wish I wish I could tell you why, but I just sent myself an email as well as setting up an auto email. So another version of me received an invitation to participate in One Home. View all listings. And when I view the listings, the One Home portal, so it does no longer has that heading, right? A lot of agents don't like that, but it's now One Home. Okay. Your customer gets a notice that there has been welcome to One Home. Together, we'll collaborate together to find your dream home, right? So if I hit continue, first of all, it shows me the picture of the agent, and the picture is down here. So if I say continue, this is the way the listings appear on One Home, right? The map, and you have, if you click on a property, now if your client wants to heart, discard, request a tour, or add a note, they will be prompted to create an account. If they are just looky-loos, they're just looking and they're never favoriting or requesting a tour. Now, the request a tour does not go to the listing agent. The request a tour goes to you. All right. And I get to see, as the consumer, I get to see the agent remarks. I get to see a little bit about the property details, more details than you see now. Room details, and this is the biggie because the room details are not anywhere on the current portal besides the customer brochure view. And if you're a new agent and you look at the customer brochure view, it looks horrible. Details about the building, utilities, and when it was built, the homeowners association, and what the association fee includes. And it should have the amount, but and then the schools. Now, the school ratings are given to you by a company called Live By. Live By will rate the schools, will tell you whether, I guess, is charter the same thing as private? I'm not really sure. It will let you look at the public record data, or you can load one more school. So you can go through elementary, middle, high, or private. So they're broken down differently than the current portal. If there is an open house, that will be on here. The market must be slowing down because we're noticing more open houses. On Fridays, we usually get slammed with, how do I add an open house to my listing? And it's in listing maintenance is the answer to that. So I got to make a note on the association information, things because we're still testing it. Association fees need to be there. Okay. And this is the tax information. And this is the same tax information that your public can go
Hey,
see on
Kathy.
the assess. Yeah.
So it looks like your screen froze again there. Do
Okay.
you
What are you
mind
seeing right
refreshing?
now?
Um,
Okay.
Looks like just the property type is residential status, the actions tab. So
Okay.
if you
The
mind just
actions tab.
hmm
Okay. Refresh. Here's my matrix screen. Refreshing that. Okay. And then when I receive an email, I'm sharing this and I'll refresh that. You should be seeing my mailinator inbox that is now empty because, oh, here we go. Can you see that? Valuable info, Summerlin One Story?
No.
Okay, so let me go back to and stop sharing, share screen, Chrome tab, uh, mailinator, share. Do you see it? Public messages, mailinator screen right now?
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So my point here is that I sent an email. First, I set up an auto email, which takes longer than a direct email, FYI. Um, but when my client gets the one home invitation and I click on that, this is how it's going to look to them, which, by the way, is exactly the same as it looks now. I choose to use my criteria on the email just in case your client comes back. You may have one client and a dozen auto emails. Okay, just to refresh my memory that these are the zip codes I searched. Here's the price I searched. I said one story, and I don't want to pay more than a homeowners association $100,000 or less. Once I click on view all listings, and let me go back to the Chrome, not that, no, not that. Okay, so um, da, 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 da. Okay, so are you there, Beta? I think I lost him.
Yes, I'm right here.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. All right. So you should see my mailinator screen.
Yep.
Okay. So from the mailinator screen, when they click on view all listings, they get, and you should see my Let me stop that. Let me reshare. Reshare. Chrome tab. One home property listing. Okay, share. Okay. You should see one home and a picture of the home. Is that what you see?
Awesome. Yep.
Yep. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I always do as the presenter. I do the presenter and the attendee. Anyway, all right. So one home is dramatically going to change the look and feel for your clients. When they click on a listing, this is what they see. This doesn't really change much except for the headings across the top. They have what's called a property fit planner if they want to include details that are important to them. But right now, if they're just looking at the listing, no changes are they're not going to see any changes on their end. However, if they mark a favorite or thumbs down, or when they look at a property, if they click on request a tour, they're going to have to create a one home account unless they already have a one home account. Why would they have a one home account if they're looking in California, if they're looking in Florida, if they're looking in another state that has already implemented one home? And what you would be surprised at is that some of your customers have already used one home. One of our brokers from a big real estate company was in California, and he came back and he asked our vice president, he said, "Hey, I use this really cool feature in California. It was called One Home." Well, that's what we'll be having beginning next Wednesday. So you have the information just like you have now. And I did make a note about the fact that I can't see the association fee. So this is what the customer sees. If they want more information on the property details, and I just noticed that first of all, the room details. Can you fit a king size bed in the second room? What's the third bedroom? Most of the time that answer is no on newer homes, but you get the details spelled out in English of what those features are. Details about the building and the homeowners association. What I just noticed is that the homeowners association does not have the association fee, so I'm going to ask that they add that. Other facts and figures. And some legalities about legal description and how much the taxes are. This is something that they're looking at in all parts of the country. What the nearby schools are, elementary, middle, and high school, and the private schools, which I guess is a big deal here in Summerlin because the ratings are provided by a company called Live By. All right. The benefit to one home is they're not going to leave here to get school ratings. They're not going to leave here to get other things. They keep you at the center of the transaction. You can view the public record, just is the same as looking what they can look at on the public record, the assessor's website. And if there's an open house, and there isn't right now, but it says talk to your agent about run home. Add a note. Now what happens? It says, wait a minute, have we seen you before? They have to sign in. If they are going to engage with favorites, no possibilities. Possibilities goes away. Favorites or adding a note. Now I'll give it a shot here for them to sign in. Yeah. So my email address is that at Mailinator. Now, don't do this for them. This is their part of the deal. And if they forgot their password, they can always say forget password again. And or at mailinator.com. 88. I usually don't like to sign in as the customer, but nonetheless, I'm going to show the additional features that they have when they do sign in. Okay, request a tour. So they have more details when they sign in. All right. They have this walk score, which I've loved, originally from New York. Can you see my walk score, Beta? Bike score,
Yep.
tran yeah, transit. So, and they also get the price history. So they get more information if they create a one home account. Okay. They also have the ability to do what's called property fit. They can, if it's to tour, that request goes to you, not the listing agent. Let me take a look and see if the association fees are on here. So there's more information for them to see. Building details, other facts and figures, directions, horse. No, there's not. Okay, need to get that added. So now they can say favorite or not for me. Those are the two choices. They can add a note. Um, uh, uh, this this listing may work. Need to. So I'm playing the customer now. Need to know exact association fees. When I say add a note, when now I'm going back as the agent, okay, and let me refresh my screen. Beta, can you see my Matrix home screen now? Or do I
No,
stop sharing and
no, we cannot.
reshare? Yeah, yeah, share screen. Okay, Chrome tab, Matrix. Okay, there we go, share. Okay, there we go. Okay, I am now the agent. I have, as the agent, I have set up an auto email and sent an email to my customer, the other Kathy, right? Um, I now, as the agent, I see recent one home visitors and I see a note. And if I click on that note, it will tell me, well, first of all, it gives me a star that's kind of hard to see. This listing may work, need to know. And this is my reminder to look up where the association fees are going to go in one home. Okay. Um, I don't right now have the ability to send a text. We're not going to turn on texting till next week. But when we do email, it works the same as it does already now, but you also have to send out an opt-in to texting. So there will be an opt-in method with which your customers can opt into texting. You can't just decide to text people if they don't opt in. So that's the first thing I want you to know. It's not like the political things where you can just randomly text people without them accepting. They have to opt into one home texting. So the text option will be, somewhere around here. It's not on this yet. Okay. So for the consumer, the login to one home provides, let me share screen and Chrome tab, one home. Okay, there we go. For the consumer, the one home portal looks very different. And they can do more things and find out more about the neighborhood. And I love this, absolutely love this. You also get a price of the history or the price history, the times it's been in MLS, and if there are any price reductions, what the property taxes are. And FYI, you can do the planner, the customer can do the planner if they choose. They can do a search, their own search, if they want to do it. And just like they can do now, they can do a new search. It tells us how many. I don't want to participate. There's a compare. If they log in, there's a compare button on the listings that they look at. So I can hit the compare button and I can compare it. I'm going to skip that. No thanks. That message comes up a little too much for me. So they can, just like they do now, they can do their own searches, including drawing a shape. So I'm going to scooch over to Summerlin here, click on the pencil, and draw the shape. And they don't have to leave to go to any of the other syndicate websites that syndicate listings. And a lot of listings here. I didn't do my property. I didn't do any, narrow down. I said any home type. I can uncheck condominium townhouse. I didn't do any price. So they have other tools here that are much friendlier, oh, than what we have now. Okay. 750, any square footage, apply. So now I have a little bit less. And again, they can do their own thing. They're already doing their own thing on other websites. But this is a breakdown of the things that they can do. And if they find a listing they like, they can mark it as a favorite or trash it or place it on the map. And when I click on the property, let me reshare. I'm getting the hang of this. Reshare, Chrome tab, one home property listing. Yeah. Okay. The only thing we're missing here is the association fees. If your client does not engage, does not create an account, you don't get this. You don't get the price history. You don't get the tax history. If they're just looking, it looks very much like they do now. Now, let me stop that and go back to some of the things that you need to do as the agent that's getting an update next week. All right, so share screen, Chrome tab, matrix. Okay, here's what you need to do on right now, today, on the news and alerts. There's a button that says One Home. Click on it. Read. That's probably the biggest complaint we get. Agents don't read. And sign up for this class or this class. The rest of the classes after this are going to be live. So this is your last chance to take the class in your office or your home. Otherwise, you have to show up at the association, get in the car, drive, show up at the association. Let me stop my share and stop sharing, and I'm going to share my PowerPoint. PowerPoint. Okay, Beta, do you see my the computer lab help screen?
No, not yet.
Okay, do entire screen. Window. Oh, here we go. Share. Okay, now we talked about computer lab. Do you see it now, Beta?
Yes, you're all good.
Okay. Now, here's why I want to show you this. If you have any questions, call us at this number right here. Attend the One Home training, because the guy that's doing that, his name is Keith Hensley. And Keith Hensley has been out here. It's been about, 7 or 8 years that Keith has been out here, but he knows the Las Vegas system and he knows your questions because he's taught One Home on multiple systems throughout the country. So for you, the biggest thing will be setting up your contact information in the system, making sure your contact information is correct. Going to, stop share. Going to maybe get a fact sheet for your clients that you can get under the Learning Lab. Log into the Learning Lab or come to our computer lab. And it will be a bit of a process for those of you that engage with your clients. For those of you that never engage, you just send out, send out, send out, and they don't look at, and they may or may not return with favorites and notes. There's not going to be much you can see for your clients. Uh, Again, go to share screen, Chrome tab, share. Go to your news and alerts, One Home. Sign up for the class. And the benefit of signing up for the class is you get to receive the recording. So I've signed up to attend the class, and then I get a phone call that blows everything out of the water, but at least I get to see the recording, right? Does that ever happen to you? You have a plan. You're with that plan. It's 9:10 in the morning, and then all of a sudden that plan gets completely blown out of the water. Um, on the learning lab. All right. And you can sign up and do lessons. You can get save and continue. Okay. You can get points. What I suggest is that welcome to your clients, the benefits of these brochures here, questions clients might ask. Now I'm opening up, it's a PDF, ask PDF. Come on. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to put it on the screen. That's a little busy. That's 23 pages. I wouldn't hand that to a client, but there's a 2-page benefit to my client. Why should my clients do this?
We do not see that PDF there, Kathy.
Yeah. Well, that's because I'm not there yet. So,
Okay.
well, yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. Again, I hear. Okay. The other thing that's going to look different in One Home is when you go to your contacts, share screen, Chrome tab, matrix, share. Okay, my matrix contacts. So I can see when the last time my mailinator email address visited the portal today at 10:15. It did some listing notes. So can you see it, Beta? Can you see my screen where it says contacts 77?
Yes.
Okay, so this going to show me because we got a number of people testing this, so I can shoot Audrey out. Let me shoot Audrey out an email while I'm here so she can take a look at. And I know Audrey does Sun City, Summerlin. 500 minus and less than $100 a month association fees. Free. So I'm just going to send her these. I'm not setting up an auto email. I won't bother the woman. She knows how to, I'm going to select all and I'm going to hit email and she's in my contact list and welcome to One Home. Here are some listings, blah, 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 blah. All right, send. And I will know when she visits my portal by her name here on One Home Visitors, and if she has engaged, there will be either note or a favorite, a little heart. And that is about all I have. You can find me at the Association Building, Rainbow, north of Sunset. We're beginning doing live One Home classes on Thursday the 5th in the afternoon. However, I suggest that you attend Keith's class first because he's had One Home experience with a number of different accounts. And I am done, Beta. I didn't have any questions.
Alrighty. Thank you, Kathy.
Uh, you have anybody after me?
No, we're all good. So I
Oh,
appreciate you, Kathy, coming on, and hopefully our agents right there were able to follow along and get everything squared away on their end. And you guys have an amazing week.
Thank you guys.